sports, news, and fun. This is the Gear Radio Network.
Programming on the Gear Network is brought to you by the GearNetwork.com store through Amazon. Visit GearNetwork.com/Amazon and click on the banner to shop through Amazon's thousands of products. Visit GearNetwork.com/Amazon. We also have a store that is specifically related to the topics we discuss here on the Gear Radio Network. So if you like professional wrestling and sports, we have a store for that. If you like anything else, please click on the banner. Again, that is GearNetwork.com/Amazon. This is a Gear Network production. Coming to you live from Greece, New York, from the Gear Network studios, this is Talking Wrestling. Here is your host, JC Money.
And good day, everybody. Welcome to Talking Wrestling with JC Money. I am your host, JC Money, and today we are sponsored by the Gear Network's Amazon page. Visit us at GearNetwork.com/Amazon for all of your shopping needs. Amazon has low prices on quality products, just about everything you can think of. Use the Gear Network link. We get the referral credit. It helps us out, and it will help you out. Back to school's coming up. New Paul Heyman DVD coming out. Bunch of stuff you can get through Amazon. Really, it's awesome. Awesome stuff. I buy from there all the time. So does my wife, who happens to be the executive producer of the show. But in any event, so we are sponsored by the Gear Network's Amazon page. Today on the program, we're going to go ahead and we're going to have 3 guests. 2 of them were recorded from the latest Pier 6 Wrestling live show. I have P6W Wrestling Champion Superbeast pre-show interview, as well as talking with the John a little bit. And then in the normal interview segment this week, we're going to have UPW star Dewey on the line. He's a man of a million gimmicks. You can call him Dew Dust. You can call him Dew Kishi. You can call him I don't even know what his name is in 2CW. I suppose I can ask him that later on. But yep, he's been around. He was actually a member of the Straight Edge Society for a night. He had his head shaved. For those that didn't know, Dewey will be on the program in the interview segment later on today. And of course, talking about Pier 6 Wrestling and UPW, it's kind of gonna cut into the WWE talk again. I owe everybody now. Will be 2 weeks of WWE talk. We'll get back to the normal format next week because of the fact that we have 3 interviews going on today, and the fact that I didn't get around to the Pier 6 Wrestling podcast, the post Pier 6 Wrestling podcast. I'll kind of combine the 2 today into today's normal show. First thing I want to do is I want to start off by saying to the Pier 6 Wrestling management and the staff and talent, you guys put on an excellent show, and of course, making an old soul like mine feel welcome at the show was a nice change of pace, and it was always fun. There are some things that there's always room for improvement, no matter what. The whole show, top to bottom, it was a great show, but there is always room for improvement. So I've offered my services to the young crop of students, offering feedback and pieces of advice, and to my surprise, they've taken to it very well and enjoy that. So that's a part of the experience for me. That's a part of the thing that I like to do that. I like to give back a bit. And the fact that I'm actually having the opportunity to go ahead and do this and speak to these young kids rather, face to face, and I can actually give them examples, and I can see what they're doing and what they could improve on. And, my advice is take it or leave it, but it's there. And I have no problem doing that. So to the folks like J.D. Hall and Blake Decade and David Fenway, Samson Hall, thank you guys for making me, whether or not you're just humoring me, thank you guys for making me feel like I am doing something good. So appreciate that. Speaking of David Fenway, I'm not going to get into the specifics because it is yet to air on TV, but the David Fenway versus Kendall James match, which is the match that I was, a lot of people were interested in seeing. It did not disappoint. I can safely say that I've never felt more awkward commentating a match than I did that particular match. It will translate on the program. I will when it airs on television, it will translate, and hopefully it translates as well as I felt it did in person, because that gimmick, that angle with Fenway and Kendall James, I am a fan of. I am a complete fan of. This is me not talking in character like I kind of have been in the past few weeks, but I am a big fan of that. I found myself watching the match like a fan more than watching it like a performer that is commentating the match. It's difficult, and it's difficult for me to do that. So Kendall and Fenway, good job to the both of you. It's a match that you're gonna want to see. I know it's a different kind of match of the year candidate. Like it was a good match. I enjoyed it. So, and hopefully you will too when it airs on Pier 6 Wrestling. I believe it should be on the rotation in a couple of weeks. I don't know that it's going to be on this coming Saturday. If it is, bonus. But all right, so that's going to be the local talk for today as far as the Pier 6 Wrestling show is concerned. Last week we had a UPW Headlocks and Homeruns winner, and we got the tickets out to them. Hope you enjoy the show. I am working closely with UPW to obtain another pair of tickets, and we will likely have another drawing, another contest or whatever going into Headlocks and Homeruns, which I believe is next week on Saturday. Marc Hauss will actually be my co-host next week for the entire show. He will be in studio, and we'll work something out between now and then to get to get everything going there. So, but I appreciate UPW for providing the tickets, for really getting on board with Gear Radio Network and helping us promote your show and the contest. So hopefully we'll get another pair of tickets. We'll get a contest out and do that for you. And hey, you know what? I'm equal opportune. So Pier 6 Wrestling, of course, me being closely affiliated with them, I have no problem saying that there will be contests for future Pier 6 Wrestling tickets for future shows at the Italian American Community Center or wherever it might be. So, all right, we're gonna pause now for commercial break, station identification, and all that good jazz. When we come back, I will have the Superbeast interview followed by the interview with The John. After those two interviews, we'll talk with Dewey, the man of a million gimmicks, Dewey. He will be our final interview on this edition of Talking Wrestling with JC Money here on the Gear Radio Network, presented by Gear Network Amazon.
You're listening to Talking Wrestling on the Gear Radio Network.
Upstate Pro Wrestling presents Headlocks and Homeruns 3, live Saturday, August 2nd from Perry, New York on the Perry Fireman Grounds in Perry Park. See your favorite UPW stars tangle with some of the biggest names in professional wrestling. Gabriel Saint taking on Shark Boy. Colin Delaney and Trent Beretta take on the Flex Express. Captain Nick Gando takes on Balls Mahoney. Ron Falco against Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner. Cloudy issues an open challenge. Kurt Hawkins takes on Marc Hauss. The Headlocks and Homeruns Royal Rumble. A steel cage tag team match, Rochester Wrecking Crew versus Tommy Dreamer and Danny Doring. The wrestling show is from 5 to 8 p.m. There's a meet and greet at 8 to 9 and an after party right at the Fireman's Ground from 8 to 11 p.m. Be there! Looking for us on social networking? Look no further. Twitter, Gear Network. Instagram, Gear Network. We are not just posting pictures of food and selfies, by the way. It's actually good stuff on Instagram. Facebook.com/Gear Network. iHeartRadio, search Gear Network. Spreaker.com/Gear Network. And, of course, GearNetwork.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to Talking Wrestling here on the Gear Radio Network. This is presented by Pier 6 Wrestling Live. Ladies and gentlemen, I have old buddy of mine, old running mate, current champion of Pier 6 Wrestling. Superbeast is with us on the program here. Superbeast, how you doing today?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. It's not good that I'm engaged at, dump of a city, but I'm here. Going to take a vacation day from the in-ring action. Going to address a couple situations like that Parasite J Friday, and other than that, I'm going to set my Tinder radius to 1 and see what awful hags show up.
Okay, very good. Now, listen, you know what? I've been very vocal. And I'll straight shoot it with you because that's who I am. That's what I do. And I'm in your face right now because, you're sexy, right? You're the champ, right? But your referee is talking about corporate America being the greatest assembled group of wrestlers in Western New York. He posted that 3 or 4 months ago. I took great exception to that. You know why? We shared the same 3 letters at one point in time. So I got to ask you, Mr. Corporate America, now that I'm here in front of you, you still feel the same way?
Absolutely. Those 3 letters, those are a thing of the past. This is 2014. This is not 2005 anymore. Times change. Greed does not. Corporate America is here to stay.
You know, I've never liked corporate America, like in any avenue of life. You know that, right? You know I don't like corporate America. I never did. That's probably what made the cartel work so well, because none of us did. At one point in time, you did too. So my question to you is simple. Because you're a beast, and I know you're a beast. You sell yourself short as the champion. You sell yourself short by taking cheap way out that maybe I took when I was in the wrestling business, when I was actually wrestling, because I'm a smaller guy, but you are a legitimate beast. And you take the same shortcuts that I always did. And you don't really need to. I mean, from a legacy standpoint, and I'm talking your whole body of work. When you were in the Underworld Cartel, you were a dominant next era wrestling champion. Nobody messed with you. But now, people make fun of you. People say you can't do it anymore. Or you've slowed down. How do you feel about that?
There's an old saying. You work smarter, not harder. I don't need to do what I used to do. Why? So I can get hurt again, be on the shelf for another year, have fans forget about me like they did for that year. I was still around, but now I'm smarter. My longevity is up there. My legacy, it will continue. People want to say it's a shortcut and the easy way. It's the smart way, the American way. And at the end of the day, the almighty dollar is what speaks. And as long as I got that gold around my waist, which I will have for a long, long time, those Benjamins are going to keep flowing on in.
All right. Well, I can respect the financial aspect of that, and I can respect the the idea that taking the cheap way out may be the American way. But let's be real here. It's not. It never is. Cheaters never win unless you're me. But you're not me. You're a beast. You still have it in you. And I'm disappointed that you're honestly speaking from the heart here. And I'm supposed to be a journalist. I'm not supposed to be in character or any of that, but I am. I'm speaking from the heart here. You're selling yourself short. You are pissing on your legacy. And it's only going to be a matter of time before you get kicked to the shelf. And then what? You saw what happened to Vader in his final days. You know what I mean? He was a monster, and then he sold himself short. What's he doing now? What's he doing now? Working MFW against Warpath? Who wants to do that? No, it's probably not happening. But in any event, Beast, I thank you for joining me. Good luck with whatever you do tonight. I will be at ringside commentating. But I wanted to actually, because I've been on the talk radio. I've been doing, saying this. But at least I appreciate you giving me the interview, the time, so I could tell you face to face. I dislike corporate America. I'm disappointed in what you're doing, and I really hope that you wake up to see Sanderson for the troll that he is.
I appreciate the time, and you can hate us all you want. With that tone, the feeling is mutual, my friend. I'll see you ringside.
All right. We'll see what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Superbeast, Pier 6 Wrestling Champion, and we'll be right back with more Talking Wrestling here on the Gear Radio Network, presented by Pier 6 Wrestling Live.
You're listening to Talking Wrestling and the Gear Radio Network. Good night now.
A successful product does not become a successful product on its own. Look at the Gear Radio Network, for example. We're a prime example. We had a lot of help getting here, and we can help you get where you want to go, too. Advertising rates are very low to start off here on the Gear Radio Network. Visit us at gearnetwork.com. Click on the contact link to send us an email, and we can work out the details. Again, advertise your product across all of the forums at a low, low rate here on the Gear Radio Network. Hello, everybody. This is JC Money for the Gear Radio Network. And hey, you busy on Thursdays? Well, if you're not, give us a listen. Talking Wrestling airs every Thursday here on the Gear Radio Network. Welcome back, everybody, to Talking Wrestling with JC Money here on site at the Italian American Community Center here on Frank Domino Way. Of course, we will be airing this the next day because that's just the way it rolls here. But I have my broadcast commentary buddy here, The John. We have a history. We go back to NEW. How's it going, The John?
Oh, the NEW days. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Oh, great. First of all, always a pleasure. Take us through how you got brought here to Pier 6 Wrestling. You weren't here when I left, and then I'm back, and now you're here, and it's cool, and it's like happy days are here again. Like how we used to have fun in the old NEW commentary booth, kind of doing that here.
I kind of miss the bird's nest a little bit.
I do too. So yeah, how did you get here?
Well, what happened was they kind of needed help on production, so they needed to help somebody help run music, and maybe run a few creative ideas by, which it basically I started doing on production. Then eventually, when there was the whole, Rob Sanderson defected to corporate America, and they needed somebody to kind of fill in for commentary, I was sitting right there. So.
Okay, so helping with production, that's pretty cool. So you've been a mainstay for several years now. I want your view on how the Western New York area specifically, how that's, in your time that you've been involved, do you feel that it's grown, it's blossomed? Is it at a standstill? Where do you see it going from here?
I feel like it has grown. I mean, I remember when I first started kind of at OSPW, I don't mean to bring up names or anything, it was kind of low draw, and then I was there actually last night, and had to be at least 250, 300 people. So, I mean, Western New York must be doing something right, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, very good. Well, we just actually ended the pre-show meeting, so we got to get to our seats pretty soon. But John, thank you for joining. I'll actually have you maybe as on the actual interview segment, we'll get a little more into your history and all that type of stuff, and talk about the things you probably don't want to talk about.
Yeah, probably. It is what it is. I understand what's going on around here.
It's the nature of the beast. It is what it is. Ratings. Controversy equals ratings.
I understand that. Trust me.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it. And we'll be right back here on the Gear Radio Network, presented by Pier 6 Wrestling, live.
You're listening to Talking Wrestling on the Gear Radio Network.
Upstate Pro Wrestling presents Headlocks and Homeruns 3, live Saturday, August 2nd from Perry, New York, on the Perry Fireman Grounds in Perry Park. See your favorite UPW stars tangle with some of the biggest names in professional wrestling. Gabriel Saint taking on Shark Boy. Colin Delaney and Trent Beretta take on the Flex Express. Captain Nick Dando takes on Balls Mahoney. Ron Falco against Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner. Cloudy issues an open challenge. Kurt Hawkins takes on Marc Hauss. The Headlocks and Homeruns Royal Rumble. A steel cage tag team match, Rochester Wrecking Crew versus Tommy Dreamer and Danny Doring. The wrestling show is from 5 to 8 p.m. There's a meet and greet at 8 to 9, and an after party right at the Fireman's Ground from 8 to 11 p.m. Be there!
From the Gear Network studios, once again, JC Money.
Welcome back, everybody, to Talking Wrestling with JC Money here on the Gear Radio Network. And yes, this is the interview time. It is sponsored by the Gear Network's Amazon page. And folks, I know you're probably sick and damn tired of me promoting the damn thing, but I'm telling you how good it is. It's awesome. It's gearnetwork.com/Amazon. Click the banner, shop, get whatever you want. There's a lot of stuff on there. NFL stuff, NBA stuff, WWE stuff, whatever. Go get it on there. All right. Prior to coming back on the air, we had the Headlocks and Homeruns commercial, and joining us on the horn here from UPW, the man of a million and one gimmicks. That might even be too little. Ladies and gentlemen, Dewey is on the line with us. Dewey, how's it going?
It's going great. What is going on? We are just a week out from that big show that you just had on air.
Indeed. We will touch up on that. That is a huge show. I had Marc Hauss on last week, and he was telling us about, how it's, big name versus local name, like top to bottom, which is rather intriguing because, as you and I both know, that doesn't really happen very often. So
yeah, there's a surprise name, and even let a little mystery into there is a rumble for the title, and there's actually a mystery guy in that too.
Oh, a mystery big name, huh?
A mystery independent big name.
Oh, all right. Well, listen, fans listening here, I got tickets. We got a contest coming up. Stay tuned for that. So, all right, Dewey, let's kind of get into the history here. Let's tell everybody that's listening what got you involved in professional wrestling, how you came to love it, how you got involved, all that.
It was one of those things where it's one of those stories we'll hear over and over again. I just watched it, loved it when I was a kid. I joined the wrestling team in high school, and some kid tried to bull me off the wrestling team. And I was like, all right, well, you want to do that? I'm going to go do what I really want to do. I'm going to be a pro wrestler. So I went, I found a guy by the name of Ian Decay. He was running Rochester Pro Wrestling. Meet up with him, turn around, go to give him some money, go to start training by him and a guy by the name of Rick Matrix. I go to the building next day, everything's gone. He goes, by the way, you now have to go to a different address and meet this guy. I ended up meeting a guy by the name of Hellcat, and he trained me about 10 years ago, and I was actually trained at the same time that local superstar Colin Delaney was trained at.
Mm-hmm.
So there was actually a group of good guys that actually came out of my class.
Yeah, I remember that class. That was a class that was going on as I was actually on my way out back then, out of a company, not of wrestling in general. But you were in a class that also consisted of one Luke Harper, right?
To believe so, yes, because he was just coming over at that time. He was one of the Rick Matrix students.
Yeah,
at the time.
And it's funny when I look back on it now, thinking about it in retrospect. At one point or another, all three of you, Colin, obviously Harper's there now. Colin was there before, but even you, unbeknownst to some people might not even remember this, but you made an appearance on I believe it was SmackDown a few years back.
I just made an appearance, believe it or not. It's actually really cool when your trainer calls you up and he's like, hey, you watch the network? And I'm like, yeah, I watch the pay-per-views, I watch certain shows on there. He's like, yeah, they're doing this top 10 faction thing. You should probably turn it on and watch because you're actually in it. So believe it or not, that spot actually still gets some play once in a while.
Yeah, and that was where you joined the Straight Edge Society, which for those who don't remember what the Straight Edge Society was, that was CM Punk's group. And Dewey was one of the people that was in the ring along with, I believe, Serena, the girl. That was the girl's name, right? Serena?
Yes.
Her and some other guy who I don't know. And they got their heads shaved. I remember looking at that, and I'm like, I had to rub my eyes for a second. I was like, is that Dewey? Because at that point, I hadn't seen you in probably, I want to say 5 years.
Yeah.
And you had
started losing weight at that time.
Yes. I remember, the happy, not to say that you're not happy now, but you were, you were bigger, but you were like the I don't know, like the happy Superbeast type, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And, always joking around and whatever, and that was kind of like the last image I had. So then here's this guy who's like slimmer, and he's getting his head shaved in the ring, and I don't remember who I asked, but I was like, is that Dewey? And they turned it on. I think it was actually White Shoes. I asked him, and he's like, yeah, man, that's Dewey on TV. I'm like, holy crap, So, I mean, take us through that. How did that come about?
Oh, wow. That's actually a funny story. I sent in my stuff and whatever, and I got a call that Wednesday before. Mm-hmm. It's from a girl, so being in the wrestling business, you don't expect somebody to be like, hey, I'm so-and-so, and it actually happened to be a girl that actually booked somebody. And she goes, well, I'm going to ask you a couple questions before I give you a date or two. And the first words out of her mouth are, I'm looking at a picture, do you have your hair? I'm like, okay, this is kind of crazy. Number one, you're a girl. Number two, you're asking this. It's like 9:15 in the morning. This has got to be a rib, whatever. And, I was like, yeah, I got my hair, blah, blah, blah. She goes, you got a passport? I'm like, yeah, I got a passport. She goes, okay, well, you need to be in Canada and you're losing your hair. Is that okay? I was like, okay, yeah, cool, where, when, and okay, is this real? So she sent me all the information and everything, and I showed up to the arena, and I got paired with Serena. And when we actually got there, they actually picked all the extras that were already doing the spot. They were actually predetermined. Mm-hmm. Because when you sign in back then, they're like, okay, you're the guys getting that shit. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of creepy. Like, all right, so we get there, we go through that, and they're like, all right, this is the last time, anybody's getting their head shaved. We got to make this look believable. This has to play into the pay-per-view. blah, 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 blah. And Dean Malenko was the agent for that segment, so he's in your ear and he's like, blah, 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 kid, this better be, the best thing ever. You better make this believable. And just going at us about, last time on TV, make it real. And I ended up getting paired up with Serena, which I was a little too tall for her. So if you ever go back and watch the spot, you actually notice she tugs my hair down and actually tugs me down because I was too tall for her.
Okay.
And we get done with the spot, and Mysterio comes out, and that was the end of it. That was the end. That was supposed to be the end. All of a sudden, and all you hear in his ear is and my blah 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 is actually coming up swear words because it was a family friendly show.
No, that's fine. I have censors.
And they're like bump the kid on the end. So there's actually Vince yelling in his referee's ear in them while they're on commercial break that they need to bump us and beat us up now. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. I'm like, okay, so what the hell is going to happen, because nothing's called, no nothing. So they, all push us out of the chair, attack us and everything, and it wasn't set up to be that good, but I was just selling because Punk put the boots to me, and believe it or not, he turns around, he goes, she's got to get her kick in. And he looked, and I was the only one that was open, and she kicked for the field.
Oh, man.
So needless to say, that's how that happened, but I've been back like 4 or 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back to when Mick Foley was Santa Claus and got ran over by Alberto Del Rio.
Yes.
Quick Rochester fact. If you pause that when they go back to the waiting room, you will see my face and a guy known as the Party Peacock, Dalton Castle.
Oh, all right, okay.
So you actually see us in that episode.
Okay, that's cool. I honestly did not know that. I didn't think much of that as far as I think at that point I had just started in the real world, in my real 9-to-5, working early. So I think I might have been asleep by then. But I didn't hear, to my surprise, I didn't hear anybody say anything about that.
No, that was one of those real subtle things that you really have to pause it to kind of notice the deal.
Okay. And have you worked any dark matches there, or just purely backstage extra?
I've never worked any dark matches there. The only place I've worked a dark match was in 2012, was for Ring of Honor in Buffalo, New York.
Oh, and how did that go?
That went really good. I worked Grizzly Redwood and Dempsey.
Okay.
Bobby Dempsey, and I teamed with Rochester local Rob Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Little known fact, we were actually supposed to face the Bone Crushers.
Oh, really?
And the Bone Crushers went to go get lunch, and they were like, man, they ain't going to give us no spots, and they actually ended up never coming back.
Seriously?
So Adam Pearce was like, I wanted those big guys. They look so good. And, Adam Pearce really never seen these guys work. He was like, they're big. They gotta be good. They gotta be big. Can you guys get beat up by that? And we're sitting there, we're like, yeah. He's like, you got a contact room? I'm like, no, I don't know where they are. And he went looking in the parking lot, He's like, he goes over to Redwood and Dempsey. He goes, yeah, your singles match is now a tag match. I told these two guys they had a tag match, but these other locals decided that they probably weren't going to get another word the hell, and they just didn't show up.
Wow. I did that. I did not know that. I didn't even know that they were even considered to be wrestling there at the Ring of Honor. But
Adam Pearce left their side. He was like, damn.
Wow, that's insane. No. All right, well, Dewey joining us on the program here today, and so Dewey, tell us about a little about. Let's talk headlocks and home runs. What are you specifically doing in that? Are you in the Rumble, or do you have a match?
I actually I didn't know until actually last minute, but I am in the Rumble, which is for the Headlocks Homeruns title that Maximo Suave holds.
Okay.
And I know there's a lot of great names in it. I know Coconut Joe's in it. New York City Warriors are in it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, who else do we have going in there? I'm pretty sure Cryptic's in it.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think. There's a good list. The Bikers are in it. And then, you heard of this guy called Ricky Reyes?
Yes, I've heard of him.
Ricky Reyes is actually going to be making his Headlocks Homeruns debut in the Rumble.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
So he's actually a familiar face here, and actually a little history about 2 months ago, him and Maximo went to the Anniversary Anarchy.
Really?
That was match. Yeah.
Oh, all right. That's cool. Yeah, Maximo, that's my guy, man. I love that guy. He's funny.
Yeah.
But, so now, as far as your tenure, you are one of the, if not the, I think maybe Spaz might be the only one that has you beat, but the longest tenured, uninterrupted tenured person at UPW, are you not?
Yes.
Yeah, you've been there for, you've been there for quite a while, so, and in that time, you've done several different gimmicks, like Do Dust and Do Kishi and all that stuff. Was it your idea to come up with all those different characters to play, and did you enjoy doing all of those?
Okay. It never came my idea. I have a bad history of when I go to work names. Somehow they either miss the show or just somehow, stuff always happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I was maybe about 2 years in, and Hellcat was like, all right, I'm going to put you with the meeting, and whatever. And the week before the show, the meeting was like, yeah, I can't make it. So I was a big fluffy guy, and he's like, I put blue hair on you, and it's Halloween time. And, it got over so huge. I did it. Chris Hammer walked in the door, and he's got big, thick southern accent. And he's like, hey, me, brother. I'm like, he texts me, yo, me, brother. I'm like, he's tapping me, and I look over and I go, hi, I'm Michael. It's nice to meet you. And he's like, and he starts going at the Backseat Boys going, yo, is he trying to rip? And, legitimately, it went on for a good 20 minutes with the Backseat Boys going, no, this is our boy Dewey, trust me, it's not him, trust me. And then it just went downhill. Dave Ann had a Gold Dust outfit, gave it to me the next show, and it just escalated downhill, and it's just something that I ran with.
I think the funniest one that I saw, and I believe I actually saw it at OSPW, where we worked a show together. You were Do Dust.
Yes. I worked Titus.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed how you played the Do Dust character, and that I think would have probably been my favorite. Unless I actually saw what I saw on your profile the other day, which was Do Path.
Yes.
Yes,
I have to ESW.
I have to know. How did that happen?
Dave got a hold of me through FW, and I started working for him for a while. And we became really good friends, and then he started working with ESW.
Mm-hmm.
And Puma's big on gimmicks.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have any type of gimmick, Puma will love you to death.
Mm-hmm.
And Puma knew that I did that. So I worked him once as Gold Dust, which I don't know if the pictures are out there somewhere. And then both actually, Warpath and Puma were like, can you feud with him, have him? Because this would kind of make it entertaining for us. I was like, you know what? Whatever you guys want to do, because the fans are eating it up. So you get 300 people that are into it, I really don't care what I'm doing, because at the end of the night, as long as I'm happy and the fans are happy, that's all that really matters.
Right, absolutely.
But once again, it was one of those matches, too, that actually gathered all the boys around the monitor just because it was entertaining.
I obviously I'm not the biggest Warpath fan. That's very well known around the circle. So
actually, you know what? I'm going to tell you a really messed up Warpath story. Do you remember his original video?
Yes.
Back in the NMW days?
Yes, I do.
Do you really want to know that there was a certain former TNA talent that still has it on DVD today? Because at the 2CW show, I asked him about it.
Really?
Alex Shelley still has the original Warpath video.
How does Alex Shelley have that video?
He got it from the Olsons at IWA years ago.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I used to have that. Now, a little known fact there. He used to make copies. I think he made like 3 or 4 copies on VHS tape.
Yeah.
And he gave one to Gary Steinmiller. He gave one to Scotty Bender. He gave one to Adam Nowak. And he gave one to me. And I think he wanted me to give it to Hellcat. And I never gave it to Hellcat because it never made it out of... At the time, I roomed with Tiger. And it never made it out of our living room because we were laughing. So we hosted a few Warpath parties. Where we invited people over specifically to watch the Warpath video and drink. It was probably one of the funniest things. It never made it to Hellcat, like that particular video. I don't know where the hell that video went, but I would pay money to see it again.
And another thing, me and Rob Sweet were doing a terrorist thing with him when he was fighting terrorists. And somehow one of our friends got a hold of the YouTube video and put it up on Taj.0, and he actually got 98%. He was just 2% away from being on Taj.0.
The Rambo Path video?
Yes.
You were actually in that?
I wasn't, and Rob Sweet wasn't, but we were actually part of that angle. He was actually playing... Those weren't real wrestlers in there.
Okay.
Rob Sweet was the real wrestler behind that.
Okay.
So that's why the work was so good, because there was actually a real worker behind it, but the videos... We're just we don't even know. Those videos have taken on a life of their own. I've never seen anything quite like it, and I hope to God I never see anything like that again, unless it's from him, because those are just legendary. Yeah, and they are.
Alex Shelley has that video. That's amazing to me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, That's awesome. I'm gonna be laughing about that all night now. I just wanted to let you know that. I'm going to be laughing about that all night.
All these random facts, man.
Yes, man, that's awesome.
10 years of Rochester wrestling, and I never really talk. So.
Oh, man. Well, I think I might have to take this off of the syndication and maybe get you on the unsyndicated one, the Get Ready America series that I do, which is the uncensored one. I mean, you could be a little...
Stories.
Oh yeah, we could. It could be a lot looser. You know, it's funny. It was Chip told me. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. Because we talk frequently, and he asked me if I was doing anything. I can't remember if it was August or September. One of them In Your Face wrestling shows that he was working. He wanted me to come up there to visit or whatever, and then he said afterward. Maybe we could do like a barbecue and it'd be me, you, Dewey telling stories. And I'm like...
Yes, that is a true story because I'm actually teaming with him. The angle is Drake Evans and his student versus Chip and one of Chip's prize students, and let alone even though I was trained by Hellcat, I was also co-trained by Chip because when I first started, Chip would come up every other weekend and spend the weekend at Hellcats. And he would actually just come up to the school and train us, and I mean, we would all pay $10 like a camp. He would run a 4 or 5 hour seminar.
Oh yeah, he was real good like that. You know what would have been great, and you just missed it by a couple of years. As much crap as I talk about SPW up there in the place that he used to run. As much as I talk crap about his partner that worked there. The only reason why I made the trip every 2 weeks for the crap amount that they were paying was for Chip, because Chip was really very instrumental in a lot of local wrestlers, not just Rochester, but Albany as well. And he definitely helped with me, being trained by Loke, and him and Loke were friends, and then he kind of just carried that on and kind of kept coaching me along the way too. So he's a good guy, man. I love that guy.
I actually worked in North Carolina about 2 years ago, and I actually go back once a year. I'm actually going back September 20th for Gout and Pier Pro Wrestling. I worked a guy by the name of Lou Marconi, which is now the NWA national champion. He goes to me, all right, kid, how long have you been trained and where are you from before we call this? I go, well, I've been working, about 8 years, and I'm trained by Hellcat, and I'm trained by Chip Stetson, which now Lou Marconi used to work USWA back when Chip started, and he goes, you're trained by Chip, brother? this is the best match I'm ever going to have.
Oh.
And we went out, and we had an amazing match.
Nice.
Just because this guy was so hyped that I told him that I was trained and worked with Chip Stetson.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. You know, Stetson, he's got a legacy, man. He's got a legacy that few can touch. I think the only one really that's on his caliber as far as legacy is concerned, quite honestly, regardless of the past between myself and Hellcat, is Hellcat. I mean, the guy, you know, and he and I are fine now. You know, it's years and years of I'm gonna have to hit F7 now, but years of bull and you know, just seeing him, I think in recent years, it's kind of, you know, it's just been real cool, and you know, to take a step back and be in the different position that I'm in now in life in general, and to see his overall body of work. And Hellcat was the first person that bumped me. You know, Loke trained me, but Hellcat was the first person that bumped me, and he gave me my tryout. And he gave me quite a few breaks, and I never forget that, and I thanked him for that. But just to see his whole body of work and what he was able to do, starting from a garage with UPW.
Not, the first show I seen with Hellcat, the first match was, well, actually, the second match on the first show I ever seen was actually you versus Gabe Saint versus Hellcat at the time.
Oh, man, I don't even remember.
That's how far back we're going.
Wow.
We're going back to I think that was right before your last show when we started running on top of the hill on Lake Avenue when you first moved.
Yeah.
Your Uncle Chris versus McLeod was the first one, and then the show after you left, he ended up bringing back Atlas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm trying to remember that match. I seem to recall a tag match where it was me and Spaz.
Or maybe it was a tag match.
If it was that one, yeah, that was, I think, the second show at the old location off of Lake Avenue, not the one at Boxhurst Street, the one behind the furniture store.
Yeah.
It was me and Spaz versus Hellcat and Gabe Saint, and Tank, the original Tank.
Yes.
Tank was my manager at the time, but then he donned the ninja mask because Hellcat was doing some Japanese gimmick or whatever, and I got the baby powder thrown in my eyes. Now, I remember that match. It was actually a fun match. Hellcat took my super kick very well. All right. Well, Dewey, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you sharing some stories. We'll definitely have to get in touch and get you on the uncensored one, and tell the fans really quickly, tell the people listening, besides Headlocks and Home Runs, where can people see you?
You can see me at In Your Face Wrestling. You can also see me as the Dirt Day Bomb in 2CW. Yeah, that's right. A white guy doing terrorist gimmick. It actually works really, really, really well.
Yes.
I actually enjoy it. And I just started breaking into some Pennsylvania Premier Wrestling, and I'm also working with Anarchy Wrestling.
Okay.
So, and also don't forget, all the local fans also go to KDW, which is basically like upstate kind of NXT.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you get to see all our up-and-coming students, which we have a huge ton of students, which if anybody listens to the show that's actually looking to try to train, we actually have our own wrestling school. Mm-hmm. And Marc Hauss is actually the trainer along with Colin Delaney, so
yes,
always look into that if you're looking to train.
Absolutely. Marc Hauss, regular contributor to the show. He's, I say regular contributor, he is a part of the show. Every week he's on, and Marc Hauss will actually be the in-studio guest next week. He'll be co-hosting with me, so yeah, he's a gamer. I know, I know if I get even for a one-off or whatever, he's going to be the guy I'm training with. All right, good stuff. Dewey, appreciate the time, man. Good luck at Headlocks and Home Runs. I may pop in there, and if I do, we'll shoot the breeze, tell a few stories.
All right, thank you.
All right, man. Take care. Ladies and gentlemen, Dewey. That's right, Dewey. Do Kishi, do Path, do Dust. Do I do? I don't know, but all I know is that was a very, very entertaining interview. The guy has more stories than I thought, and is really cool to talk to him again. I haven't really spoken to him, and I've known him for a long time, but Haven't really actually had a conversation with him in a very long time. So it was pretty cool to catch up with him, and you can catch him as well as all the rest of the UPW superstars at Headlocks and Homeruns. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have a contest very similar to how we had last week. I will touch up on that right after this.
You're listening to Talking Wrestling and the Gear Radio Network. Good night now.
A successful product does not become a successful product without proper advertising. If you would like your show advertised here on the Gear Radio Network, rates are very, very low. To start off here, give us a shout on Facebook, facebook.com/Gear Network. Send us a message. We can work out the details. Get your brand promoted here on the Gear Radio Network. Welcome back to Talking Wrestling with JC Money, everybody. Thanks again, Dewey, for the interview. And hey, before I go ahead and get onto this next segment here, I want to go ahead and talk about the Headlocks and Home Runs contest. It's real simple. We just posted a blog on GearNetwork.com. Click there. It's the Headlocks and Home Runs contest number 2. It's easily identifiable. All you got to do is go on there, fill out the form, tell us your favorite UPW moment and what you're looking forward to, and submit it. That's it. That's all you got to do. Go ahead, fill that form out, submit it with a valid email address, and what we'll do is we'll draw the winner on the podcast next week. And on the podcast next week, being my co-pilot next week is going to be the man you're about to hear right now in Marc's Minute, Marc Hauss. Marc, take it away.
Welcome back to Marc's Minute. I am your host, Marc Hauss, and this week's topic given to me by JC Money is kayfabe. What is it? Is it still alive? And should it be today? Well, kayfabe itself is the idea and mentality that wrestling is still real, and that it's not a form of entertainment, and that it's not a work. Is it still alive today? I don't know. It's yes and no. I'm going to lead more on the side of no, that it's not, with social media and dirt sheets and us flat out telling everybody that it's a work and it's entertainment. Kayfabe is almost dead, pretty much. But you still got those instances, even though everybody knows it's a work, where you might have two guys doing business together that really, in real life, don't like each other and can come across and do business and make it seem, or come across that there's real feelings there and there's a real animosity to create a real storyline. And kayfabe, should it be still around today? I absolutely, wholeheartedly, 100% say yes. It's one of those things where, yes, it's entertainment, but we still need to get people to come to the shows, and we need to have people be separate between faces and heels and not mingling at shows. I mean, you look at the WWE, you don't see WWE professional wrestlers sitting out in the crowd with the fans, with faces and heels that are feuding with each other, sitting next to each other, having a great time. You just don't see it, because that's professional wrestling, and that's being a professional. And then you go to these independent shows and you see them all watching all the matches together, each other drinking, and they just had a great, huge, long feud, and ended it with a cage match, and now they're drinking at the bar together, being best friends in front of all the fans, and that just kills wrestling in general. So kayfabe, yes, I'm 100% for it. And that's all I got from Marc's Minute this week. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Marc Hauss. Thank you, Maestro, for cueing the music. Ladies and gentlemen, Stacked Week number 2 is done. Thank you to Superbeast, The John, and to Dewey for appearing on the program. Thank you again to Pier 6 Wrestling for the wonderful time that you showed me there. This past. Matter of fact, I can't even talk. I can't even think straight. I'm still laughing about the whole Alex Shelley having Warpath's original video thing. But in any event, let's just go ahead and get to the specifics here. This is a copyrighted podcast by the Gear Radio Networks, and any rebroadcast and reproduction without the express written permission of the Gear Radio Networks and me specifically is strictly prohibited. The executive producer of this fine program is Mrs. Dawn Cimino. Join us next week. We will have Marc Hauss co-hosting with me, and we will have, as our special guest, Gabriel Saint will be the interview. That's right. Headed right into Headlocks and Home Runs. We are going with a home run hitter right there. Gabriel Saint will be on Talking Wrestling with JC Money next week. We will announce the contest winner, Marc Hauss. Ladies and gentlemen, it will be another stacked week. So for everybody here at the Gear Radio Network and for Marc Hauss, this is JC Money saying until next week, so long everybody. Good night now. Hey, wait a minute. Don't go anywhere just yet. Breaking news in the Gear Radio Network. We are now on iTunes. So yes, please, you can find us on iTunes. Go ahead and subscribe to us. It would be much appreciated. Gear Network, ladies and gentlemen, we are growing. Spreaker, iHeartRadio, GearNetwork.com, and iTunes.